You know that moment, right? That first kinda awkward hello with a new colleague? We've all been there. But what if I told you that inside that one simple conversation, there's a powerful framework hidden in plain sight? A framework for building amazing teamwork, right from the very first minute. Well, today, we're gonna pull that conversation apart and see what makes it tick.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually get from that slightly stilted introduction to a place where you're building a real, solid foundation for great teamwork? It feels like a huge leap, but honestly, there's a surprisingly simple formula to nail it.
And to find that formula, we're going to do a little case study. We're going to listen in on two new colleagues, Matthew and Lisa, meeting for the first time. And by breaking down what they say, we're going to uncover a simple three-step framework that you can use every single time you meet someone new at work.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got Matthew, he's on the deployment team. And then you have Lisa, who's just come over from the US office. They know they're supposed to work together on a project, but that's about it. They're total strangers. This is their first hello.
And right away, we dive straight into step one of our framework, clarify the work. This is so important. It's all about getting past a job title, which can be pretty vague, and really understanding what a person actually does day to day. It's the first big move. And here it is, the question that starts it all. Lisa asks this super simple, direct question. She doesn't just nod and accept Matthew's title. She digs just a little bit deeper. It's curious, it's polite, and man, is it effective for getting the kind of clarity you need to actually work well together.
And just look at the difference this makes. On the left, you've got his title, Database Administrator. Okay, what does that mean? But on the right, you have his function. He takes care of the database, the backups, the security. Boom. In one sentence, Lisa knows exactly what Matthew is responsible for. It instantly creates a mental map of how the team fits together.
Okay, now for step two. Once Matthew has explained his role, the conversation takes a turn, and Lisa starts to bridge communication gaps. This is really key. She's not waiting for a problem to pop up down the line. She's getting ahead of it and explaining her role in preventing friction.
This line right here, it's just brilliant. It sounds so casual, right? But it's packed with strategy. Lisa isn't just some generic coordinator. Her core function, her whole purpose, is to make sure these two teams from different cultures can actually work together smoothly. She's naming a potential problem before it's even a problem and positioning herself as the one who solves it.
And that little idiom she uses, play well together, it's just perfect. It says everything. Her job isn't about spreadsheets or deadlines, it's about people. It's about managing those relationships to make sure everything just works. It's a really memorable and easy way to explain her value.
So you see, this wasn't just idle chit-chat. There were some real issues bubbling under the surface here. The whole project was in English, and some of the team members were a little nervous about working with the new American colleagues. Lisa's entire job is designed to get out in front of exactly those kinds of communication problems. She's not just a person on the team, she's the bridge.
All right, and that brings us to the final and maybe most important step, the one that really cements the whole thing: build human connection. Once the professional stuff is clear and the potential issues are on the table, the conversation can shift. It can become about finding that little bit of personal common ground.
And check this out. Matthew returns the favor. He picks up on the fact that Lisa is from the US and asks a simple, totally appropriate personal question. This is such a critical moment. It shows he's listening and that he's interested in her as a person, not just as a job function. He's helping to build that rapport.
Lisa's answer here is just perfect. She gives a clear answer, Houston, Texas, and then she adds this one unforgettable little detail. I grew up on a ranch. All of a sudden, she's not just Lisa from the US office, she's the person who grew up on a ranch. It makes her a real, three-dimensional person.
And this is the cherry on top. This is how she just seals the deal. She adds a little bit of humor and personality, kind of explaining her journey from ranch life to a tech job. It's relatable, it's a little funny, and it's authentic. In just a couple of sentences, they've gone from total strangers to colleagues who actually know a little something interesting about each other.
So, let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway from watching Matthew and Lisa's conversation? Well, we've pulled out a super simple but really powerful three-step framework that can turn any first meeting into the beginning of a fantastic working relationship.
Here it is, plain and simple. Step one, clarify. Don't just settle for a job title, ask what they actually do. You need to understand their function. Step two, bridge. Look for those potential points of friction and talk about how you can help make sure things run smoothly. And finally, step three, connect.
Share a little something appropriate and personal about yourself to build that human rapport and trust. So, as we finish up, here's a little something to think about. Now that you have this framework in your back pocket, what's the one question you're going to ask the next new person you meet at work? What's that one thing you'll ask to go beyond the simple hello and start building some truly great teamwork?